What's up, everybody? Marcus here with Daily Adaptation. I'm going to go ahead and do my week 1 of 12 or level 1 of 12 interval or HIIT training. Today is a 1-to-3 ratio, which means that I am 30 seconds working, 90 seconds off. 30 seconds working, 90 seconds off. So in this time period, I'm going to get 8 rounds of that 30 seconds on, 30 or 90 seconds off, with a 5-minute warm-up to start, and then a 5-minute cool down, and then I'm going to be moving into core. And so for today's core, I'm going to be doing transverse abdominals. So it's several different varieties of a plank. But again, follow along with me as I go through these workouts. Either you can be listening to me, you can be watching, or just get a feel of what it kind of takes to get this 1-to-3 ratio down. Again, I'm in level 1 of 12, and it's a 12-month program essentially, a full year's worth of training with 4 different types of modality, and this week just happens to be HIIT training. And then, by the way, this is a Peloton bike. I've got my seat adjusted properly. I've got shoes that I've clipped into, so I can not only push down on the pedals, but I can pull as well. And like I said before, I'm just getting my first 5-minute warm-up in, nice and easy. And as your cardio starts to get better, your stroke volume increases, your cardio output increases, you're going to be able to hit higher heart rates and also be able to recover faster, hitting those lower heart rates in between your interval cycles. So I'm 2 minutes into my 5-minute warm-up. All I'm essentially trying to do is get my body moving, trying to get blood flow supported through my legs, through the rest of my body, establish my breathing pattern, which should be in through the nose and out through the mouth, slowly allowing my heart rate to climb. Like I said, as you get more and more fit, you'll find it harder to get your heart rate up, but it will also fall down much quicker. The other thing that happens is when you do hit higher heart rates, which you should be in HIIT training, it is a lot easier once you're up there as far as how you feel. So if you're not used to hitting high heart rates, it can be really challenging when you get up there. You can feel nauseous, you can feel dizzy, you can feel incredibly fatigued. But if you get used to the stimulus of being up there, it's a lot easier to manage. Again, goes with the premise of adaptation. What you do in your environment frequently, your body will adapt to, period. Really, really simple logic. And what I find, and I think what we've found through history, is that usually the simplest answer is the right answer. It's not about how hard you work, and it's not about, how much weight you can lift and, pushing yourself to these extremes. It's about how consistent you can be with whatever you're doing. So if you're pushing yourself to extremes and you're trying to be consistent, you'll see good strength gains, muscle gains, whatever gains, but it's short-lived because you can never maintain that forever. My system is very gradual. It's like a slow drip. But with that slow drip, it gives my body time to acclimate. Once I start acclimating, I start to up that intensity a little bit at a time. And I find that if you start at a low level and you start progressing higher, you have places to get to as far as progression, rather than starting at such a high level that you have nowhere to progress to. So the plateaus are very few and far between, whereas if I just started off cranking with a Tabata program, there's no real place to go from there. What are you going to do? Be on for 30 seconds and off for 5 seconds? It doesn't work like that. So we really want to find that sweet spot. And I find that a 1-to-3 working ratio is a great place to start. So that's where I'm going to start with your programming, and that's where I'm going to start over with my programming, because again, I took about 6 weeks off, and coming back to it will be a little bit tough. But I've been there before. It's easy to get back. Okay, so our first interval is coming up in 15 seconds. I'm going to increase my resistance to about 50 to 55, and I'm going to hit 100 on that cadence, which should put me around 380 watts or so. Remember to push yourself as hard as you can for the 30 seconds. Ready to go in 3, 2, 1, and we're going. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Three, 2, 1, and recover. All right, first interval down, 7 more to go. So you can see my heart rate shot up to 140 beats a minute. I've lowered my resistance by about 20 points. And then my heart rate should start falling. If it stays here, it just kind of means I'm not as cardiovascularly fit as I should be, or as I used to be. Not as I should be, there's no such thing. But over time, you'll see the heart rate plummet in between your interval cycles. If you're like me, right now, it's gonna stay up. That's okay. Give me about 2 months, 3 months. I'll be right back to manageable levels. So 90 seconds to rest. You're 60 seconds into that right now. And 30 seconds, I want you to increase the resistance. Push as hard as you possibly can while maintaining neutral breathing, normal breathing, in and out, into the nose, out through the mouth. Max effort every single time. Do not wait for the last set. Do not wait for that 6th, 7th, and 8th set. Every set, push yourself as deep into fatigue as you possibly can. All right, here we go. Ready to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Four, 3, 2, and time. Bring that resistance back down, or bring your speed back down if you're not messing with resistance. 90 seconds to rest. Smooth inhales through your nose. Pretty quick exhales through your mouth. One minute left to rest. So last set, I hit a peak of 140, and I got all the way down to 118 before I started my interval. This set, I hit a peak of 150, and so far, I've only managed to get it down to 131 beats a minute. 30 seconds left. I'm hoping this drops at least below 120. But like I said, it's gonna be better over time, and I'm willing to let it be where it is for right now, because what can I really do about it? Wherever you are, that's a good place to progress from. 15 seconds, and we're going to our third interval. Ready to go in 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So I'm electing to do speed and cadence increase. You can do one or the other, or both. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1, and recover. Nice and easy on the wheel. Going again at 11 minutes, 90 seconds to rest, 1 to 3 work ratio, 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off. During your off period, keep your legs moving, keep your body working, but make sure that it feels like recovery. It will change throughout the session. I was recovering at resistance 35, now I'm recovering at resistance 33. If I wanted to, I can bring it down. So now I have resistance 27, and my legs feel like they're just spinning on their own. Doesn't feel like I'm putting any muscle or work into it at all. So heart rate on that one reached a peak of about 158, and then now it's currently down, when I have 20 seconds to go, back down to 127 and stabilizing. Fourth interval coming up in 15 seconds. Get yourself ready. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Ready to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Ten seconds left. 4, 3, 2, and time. Let it go. Woo. All right. So, next one is going to be at 13 minutes. 90 seconds to rest here. Nice and easy. If you find yourself still being challenged by the 8 rounds with the 1-3 working ratio, great. If this is nothing, super easy, heart rate's barely rising, recovering all the way down to double digits, feel free to skip ahead in the programming to level 2 of 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever you want. Just make sure wherever you go, there's a place to progress to. So if you go all the way to 12 to 12, make sure that you're crushing that workout and that it's not easy for you. Not just making it, but absolutely crushing it so that you can have some place to progress to after that cycle. 15 seconds. So I'm gonna crush this workout like I'm crushing it right now. Have the ability to recover in between sets, see a really good spike in the heart rate, and being comfortable. Ready to go in 3, 2, 1, 5th set, and here we go. And I don't mean comfortable like I'm not working, but comfortable with my fatigue levels. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1, and back it off. Whew, that was a hard one. So, that was set number 5. I got 3 more to go. My heart rate's not reaching as high as it was the first time I did this. And so what's probably happening is I am adapting quite quickly to that stimulus. Is yours isn't dropping or coming down as fast. That's okay. It takes a little bit of time. That being said, yours might be dropping way faster than mine. Bump up your level, make sure it works for you. Or stay at level 1 of 12, and be comfortable just getting back into the flow of things. I definitely would recommend just starting from baseline and working from week or level 1 on every modality of exercise so you can progress evenly and you can give yourself an entire year of training without injuring yourself, without overworking or really dreading the workout. Like, I was really excited to do my workout today. And that's what I hope to cultivate with this routine, is I take enough time off where when I come back to it, I'm excited to do it. We got 10 seconds left. This will be our 6th interval. Heart rate's Dropping down to 130, 135. Ready to go in 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Increase resistance, speed, or both. Everything you got for 30 seconds. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1, and recover. Whew. Okay. Although my heart rate isn't saying it, my rate of perceived exertion is like a level 8 right at the end of those intervals. So I feel like I'm working real hard and my body is basically starting to poop out right at that last 3 or 4 seconds, which is good because it's telling me I'm right at the zone I need to be in. If you get to the end of that working interval and you've got way more left in the tank, you need to bump up and level. Vice versa, if you get to the end of that working interval and there's just nothing left and you can't squeeze out that last 5 seconds, or you can't get 15 seconds of it, don't stop, but decrease your resistance or decrease your speed and just make sure you're working harder than your rest time. No ego involved, just pure continuous work and exercise for the greater goal of doing something consistently. Not feeling like you have to puke, not feeling like you're gonna overtrain or that you dread the exercise. Get the work in, enjoy it, move on. Getting ready for a 7th interval in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Increase resistance, increase speed, or both. Five seconds. 4, 3, 2, and time. Whoo, legs were on fire on that one. Oh. All right, one more to go. There we go, heart rate's up at 86%, 160. So I'm hitting those higher zones, or those higher heart rates towards the end of my ride. Perfect. Gradually bringing up my baseline. So you notice too, I take all my intervals in the seat. I'm not standing up. That's personal preference. I find that with this Peloton bike or any spin bike I clip into, I enjoy the push and the pull of that 360 pedaling in the seat compared to push and pull out of the seat. I feel like I can push a little bit more effectively and pull a little bit more effectively to stimulate my legs to work. Whereas when I'm standing, I feel like it's a little bit of a cheat. I mean, it's not bad in the real world. If there's a hill in front of you and you've got a bike and you can't switch it into enough of a gear to keep those feet pedaling, stand up, use your body weight, use your mechanics. For me, with the bike, in this seat, with these intervals, I want to challenge myself as much as possible. Speaking of which, 8th and final interval coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hit it. Last one. Every interval you should be pushing it. This is your 8th and final. Everything you got left, even though you should have been doing that the whole time. Five, 4, 3, 2, and time. Let it go. Whew. Breathe. We're into our 5-minute cool down now. Keep those legs pedaling. Don't stop your legs. Bring your resistance down to a manageable level where you feel like your legs aren't even trying, and that the movement of the pedals is almost pulling you forward. All right, that felt good. 20 minutes. I know I'm going to be slightly elevated in my heart rate for the rest of the day. If you're like me, you're doing this in a ketosis state or state of ketosis, where my body is using ketones for energy and not sugar from glycogen. So it's a little bit harder to sustain those high levels of output for very long, or even at all, because my body's normal fuel source when working at those intervals is usually running off of glycogen. But because I don't have any glycogen in my cells, in my muscle cells or in my liver, I'm having to turn body fat into ketones and use those as energy. Now, ketones are a fantastic form of energy. Really, really efficient, really, really abundant in your body, no matter how lean you are. The only problem is, I find, and I think a lot of other athletes find, is that when you're in ketosis, when you're doing cardio exercise, HIIT training is especially difficult, whereas if I went out for a gentle run or a jog, I can go forever running off of my ketones because my heart rate's in a zone where it's not demanding a high energy source. That might be different for other athletes, but I will tell you, especially in the beginning phases of ketosis, because I've only been in for about 2 weeks, in the later stages of ketosis, your body can become a little bit more effective. But anybody who's done it before will tell you that strength training and HIIT training are incredibly difficult in ketosis. So something to keep in mind from a dietary perspective. There's also, with this, if I wanted to really push the watts here and I really wanted to get a much stronger workout, let's say I was actually preparing for some type of triathlon or some type of century ride, I may want to consume a little bit of carbohydrate, about, depending on the carbohydrate, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours before the ride, in order to use that as an energy source to burn off during the ride, but then afterwards immediately be back into ketosis. Now, the preferred way to do that is what's called targeted ketosis or targeted keto. And that's where you consume something very simple like a sugar, like a maltodextrose, unfortunately like gummy bears or pixie sticks, which I just find absolutely revolting. But that's just me, because I've been programmed just not to eat candy and other garbage. If you do, that's okay. It just makes my stomach hurt, gives me a headache, and I'm grumpy. Anyways, that stuff can be eaten 30 minutes before your exercise. It's quickly absorbed, quickly stored, and quickly ready for energy. Whereas if you consume something like brown rice or pasta or bread that's wheat, it could take 1.5 to 3 hours to digest, to be utilized as energy, and then go from there. So my preferred way to do targeted keto is with white rice. So I'll eat white rice about an hour before I lift, and then afterwards I should have used that energy, and I typically will consume anywhere from 25 to 50 grams of it in order to get through my workout with power and strength, but then be back into ketosis after I'm done, and then only consuming large levels of fat, moderate levels of protein, and extremely low levels of carbohydrate, mostly in the form of vegetables. Okay, that's the 5-minute cool down. We're gonna go ahead and move into our core. And again, our core today is going to be those transverse abdominals. So we've got plank versions here. So you're gonna go ahead and come with me, do the end of the workout here, 245 calories being burnt, 24 minutes, and total output average was 163. Not terrible. All right, so here we go. Seamless transition. All right, that was fun. All right, so now we're gonna go down to our plank. And what I have here are 3 different plank exercises, followed by 3 different easier exercises that mimic the plank and lower back stability. So each one is going to be held for 30 seconds. Each one's going to be held for 30 seconds. At the end of each one, I'm going to do an opposite arm and leg raise to rest, and then move on to a different plank. So here we go. Elbows are going to come down, legs are going to come out straight. I've got a 30-second hold. Keep your back as neutral as possible, and just remember to breathe. Draw the abdominals in. I like to squeeze the glutes in this position as well. As long as your back isn't arched, it's relatively flat, the abs are drawn in, you're pretty good in a plank. Biggest thing is you don't want to do that with your back. Keep your abs in straight, legs straight to help them protect. Final 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. Hands down, knees down, opposite arm and leg raise, just like this. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Extend out, opposite arm to leg. Keep your abdominals in tight so your back doesn't arch. Extend out, back and forth. Keep drawing the abs in here. That's the secret to this. Pulling those abs in is going to activate those transverse abdominals. When I reach out in opposite arm and opposite leg in this position, my abs are going to want to stretch. What I'm going to do is draw them in so that they can't stretch very far, and I'm going to feel that pull as they elongate. So here we go, back down into a plank, this time switching a single leg. 5 seconds apiece. 2, 1, switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, switch. Keep your hips down in level with your shoulders. 2, 1, switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Hands down, knees down, opposite arm and leg raise. Inhale as the leg comes up, draw the abdominals in. Exhale, pull the knees back to neutral. So I'm looking at the video here, and I can see it looks like my back is arching, but what you can't see is that I'm really keeping things tight to the inside here, drawing those abdominals in. Again, pull those abs in as hard as you can to prevent that back from arching in this position. Reach the opposite arm out as far as you possibly can. All right, so now we're gonna do a plank with the feet wide, and we're gonna extend out a single arm, back and forth. Here we go. Feet are wide, elbows are down, and touch. Try to prevent your hips from rocking as much as possible. Keep drawing the abdominals in as much as you can. If you need to go to your knees, that's perfectly acceptable. 10 seconds left. It's better to have good form here than to let your back arch and to feel this in the base of your spine. And time. Let's go right back to hands down, knees down once again. Extending out left arm, right leg. Draw those abs in. Pull the belly button in towards the spine and up into the rib cage. Inhale to reach. Exhale to pull back in. Draw those abs in tight. Nice and easy. It should feel like a rest. Like an active rest. Okay, here we go. Back to regular plank. Well, actually, let's mix it up. We'll do a little bit of side-to-side hip action now. So elbows down, legs out straight. And here we go. Rock those hips side to side. Nice and easy. So you don't need to physically touch the hip to the ground. All you really need to do is just bring yourself slightly off center without allowing your hips to come up and pike up too much. So again, keep the abdominals drawn in. Let your feet turn and move with you. If you feel any lower back pain during this, don't do it. Just do a regular plank. That's fine. 3, 2, 1, and time. Right back to opposite arm and leg. And here we go. extending the arm and leg out as far as you possibly can, drawing the abdominals in as much as you can here. If my form isn't perfect, I apologize. And time. Okay, so for this next one, we're gonna do opposite arm and leg. So both my left arm and right leg will come up and I'll switch back and forth. Here we go. Elbow down, legs out straight. Opposite arm and leg. 3, 2, 1, switch. 2, 1, switch. 2, 1, switch. Hips stay down, back is neutral. Reach as far as you can. 2, 1, switch. 2, 1, switch. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. Opposite arm and leg raise once again to rest. Here we go. Five seconds. Okay, back down into a plank, and now I'm going to do knee drives to the outside, back and forth, gently guiding my knee up and out to the side, back to neutral, switching spots. Ready, set, and go for it. Elbows down, legs out straight. Let that knee come up as high as you feel comfortable. Maintain your plank. Exhale, as that knee comes out to the side, inhale to bring it back. 7 seconds left. And time. Back to opposite arm and leg raise so you get that active rest. Fine. 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. Whew. All right. So I'm going to be done with that sequence today. You're more than welcome to repeat that core sequence for as long as you'd like. I find that that amount of time is successful in stimulating the transverse abdominals in order for them to become stronger and a little bit better looking or fit or whatever, right? I just find that I'm sore in the morning. That's all I really care. So I'm Marcus with Daily Adaptation. It was a pleasure doing HIIT training with you today. I'll see you here tomorrow for rowing. Go ahead and check that out as well. All right, everybody, be good.